Welcome back to the Shine Within podcast. Jocelyn Sandstrom is the founder of Wellness and Metaphysical, a community-focused platform dedicated to elevating consciousness through expos and retreats. Since 2010, Jocelyn has offered quantum energy sessions and trained individuals in Neuro-Linguistic Programming, which is NLP, Neurological Repatterning, and the Millennium Method to clients worldwide. With a passion for helping others release deep-rooted issues from their past, she specializes in coaching and mentoring individuals to achieve both next-level success and lasting fulfillment. I love it, Jocelyn. Thank you so much for being on my show today. Oh, you're
Thank
from
you so
Hawaii. Oh,
much.
I want to go back to
Yes,
Hawaii.
please come back and visit.
Oh, I will. Oh, I love it there. It's beautiful.
Thank you.
Yeah, so I just want to go ahead and ask, what inspired you to start your business, and how has your personal journey influenced the passion behind it?
Well, it all comes from our personal journey. So it started in 2003 when my mom first got sick. And before that, I had a whole other, life. And then that happened and it put me on the course for this life. So I certified in all of those things because I wanted to find a holistic way to help her without all the side effects of the medical world. And I did. And so that fueled me. And then as I was doing that, I used it for my career. And it blew my mind. So much so it blew my husband's mind too, because I would work on something and then something would show up and he'd be like, okay, that's not a coincidence. And it happened so many times after that. He's like, okay, I need to take this course. Like whatever it is you're doing, I want to know. And so we built our careers that way. And then it just became my passion to help other people do that as well, because the more of us doing it, the bigger collective shift we're going to create.
Yes, and don't you feel like we're in that shift right now? Like
Oh,
we're all like as a collective, we're shifting our mind. Oh, and I gotta tell you
yes.
a story. So, I don't know if you know my background. I was an alcoholic before, no more. I'm about 7 years sober, but
Yeah.
I actually didn't know of a mentor or a alcohol-free recovery coach. I sought out a mindset coach, and she helped me so much with my limiting beliefs because I didn't love myself at all. And I was so into my ego too. Even though I didn't love myself, I was into my ego. It sounds kind of weird, but it's true. I
Well,
didn't
that's
want to
how it
get help,
works.
right?
Yeah. Yeah, because if
Yes.
you don't have that inner power, that self-love, then we compensate with our ego. And that's how it used to be power, like external. If we are externally motivated, then we are always fighting for the same power and then it becomes dominance and then our ego comes out, right? But if we are in our inner power and it's inner power, not circumstantial power, we show up in a completely different way. So that completely makes sense. But please go on because I
Oh,
love hearing it.
yes. Thank you for that. Yeah, it's so true. By the way, that's why my podcast is called Shine Within because it is
Yes.
that inner power. But she helped me so much with these practices that I was just doing daily with trying to learn to love myself and build that confidence. So she helped me tremendously. But in your opinion, how can mastering your mindset help create next level success, both personally and professionally?
Well, exactly what you were saying, and the name of your podcast, which is what I love in all of your podcasts, your
Oh, thank
episodes,
you.
is it all comes from within. Ultimately, when we are in our inner power, we're unstoppable. Nothing can stop us. We'll create what we came here to create. We will take the leaps that we desire to take without fear of judgment, without fear of failure, because we know a lot of times we fail our way to success, right? And we're just going to be in our power. Nobody can take us off course. No one's opinions, no circumstance can take us off course because we know we built it from within. So when you cultivate that at the root of all of it, if we had that inner power, if we were raised to self-validate, if we were taught to self-validate versus living for external validation all the time, the world would look completely different because hurt people, right? And then some hurt people, like one of my mentors say, some hurt people change the world because they shift their mindset and they turn it into their superpower. And so for me, I came from the same background and I also, partied a lot and I used alcohol as my confidence, to come out and be myself and everything until I realized that I could just work on that from within and be myself without any of that extra. And when you are in your power and you're in your aligned truth and you take aligned action every single day, you quantum leap your success because you're in the zone. You open up synchronicity And then the universe drops in those out of the blue emails, opportunities, chance encounters. People call it luck. I call it being in the zone. Like we get to cultivate that. And the more that you do that, the more magic shows up in your life. And I was having a mastermind the other day, and I was just like, almost every moment, like I feel like crying because things are so incredible. Like the more that I get into the zone, the more the universe just blows my mind with the things that it drops into my life. And there's so much contentment and love and magic. And I just want everybody to be able to feel that.
Oh my goodness. And I'm feeling that too. Yes, when I got sober. So I guess I've always had the power within. I just didn't believe in myself. And it wasn't until I started believing in myself that I'm like, oh wow, this world is magical. And things started shifting a lot, like too fast though, like a quantum leap. I'm like, what is going on? Am I time jumping?
Yes, you were.
I'm time jumping.
Absolutely. Because we're the only things that are stopping it from dropping into our life. Like
Mhm.
we were born an energetic match for all our goals, desires, our dreams, and quantum physics, past, present, futures, all in the now. So it's already written. It's already, we're like tuning into future echoes of future memories that are showing us what's coming if we're brave enough, if we're courageous enough, if we have enough inner power to follow our dreams, to trust in our gut intuition, our soul knowing, whatever you want to call it. You can call it any name you want, but at the end of the day, it's all that same thing. Like you have that knowing, you get in the zone, you fall in love with yourself, and your life changes instantly, like you've experienced. So I love that.
It's amazing. Oh, wow. Now, can you actually go ahead and share some strategies for aligning with your true self to open up to synchronicity and amplify life's results?
Well, the first thing is to really cultivate your inner knowing. Again, whatever you call it, your gut intuition, your soul knowing, your inner knowing, whatever that truth is for you, to cultivate that. I have a soul evolution process that I give to everybody. So if you want it, just email me and I will send you the link. And it is something that you can do every single day. You drop down into heart space and you communicate with the knowing within you, the truth within you, and you ask it, what's my next step of evolution? What are the things that are going to bring the most value to my vision today? What are my aligned actions, not everybody else's aligned actions? What does success look like to me, not everybody else? What do I want to create, not what everybody else wants me to create? Because we've been living for everybody else for so long that if we're off track, right? And so this process is just pulling you back to your truth. In the beginning, it might feel uncomfortable because you might be like, okay, well, I'm feeling called to do this, but that goes against everything my conditioned mind is telling me to do, right? Because I've been recoding the hustle mindset to shift out of the hustle mindset and to be opening up the synchronicities and the energetics for bigger things to drop into my life. So as I do that, my inner knowing is like, okay, do this, but my mind's like, no, if you do that, that means you're going to fail. But I transcend that, I reprogram that. And then when I trust this, like the most unbelievable things drop into my life. So trust that inner knowing, your gut intuition, your soul knowing, whatever you want to call it, it's not going to steer you wrong. It might look like it initially, but it's the thing that it's guiding you to do to get the learnings that you're meant to go through, to grow through, to then get to the next level. And so I would play with it on big things and small things. The more you play with it on small things, the more you trust yourself, the more you build that faith and that trust, the more you can use it for the big things. But a lot of it is just cultivating that knowing and then when you cultivate that, you're not going to go back and forth so often. Like you're not going to go back and forth in your mind being afraid that you're going to make the wrong decision because you can't screw it up. You know what I mean? You, like as long as you harvest the learnings, pivot, and then transmute it, you can't screw it up. And if everything is as intended, everything is unfolding for our highest truth, our highest purpose, then everything is leading to where we desire to go, as long as you don't give up.
Yes. Oh, that was beautifully said. I love that. It's so true.
Mm.
Oh, now what does creating a blueprint for your dream life look like?
So that's basically what I was saying. It's like you tune in and you figure out like where do you desire to go? Like I kind of like use the example of, let's say you have a Tesla and you put in the destination that you desire to go. So you put that in, and then every single day you trust that there's something guiding you to that place. You don't have to figure out the how. because the how, the universe co-creates with you. And like all the big things in your life, think about it, dropped into your life out of the blue. Like my partner, the summits that I'm speaking at, the clients that are coming into my life, like all the opportunities, the workshops that I teach, they drop in. Sometimes I create them, but a lot of times they drop in into my life. You receive that email, you run into someone that knows someone or that refers you to someone. And so when you realize you don't have to be the one to always figure it out, that our job is just to like fully love on ourselves, like love on every part of ourselves, live this life like the version of us, the younger version of us that dreamed about this, the younger version of us that manifested this life, like live it for that version. And then go out and take aligned action with your truth, kind of stop all the noise from the external world, follow that every single day, and then know that you're co-creating with the universe. Sometimes I'll be like, okay, universe, I took all the line action. Now it's your turn. You know what I mean? You could say God, universe, divine, whatever you want to, whatever that is for you, because to me, it's all the same thing, right? And so and you can call manifestation luck. You can call it so many different names. Again, it's just the words that we use, right? And that's just the thing. So that's kind of like if you do that every single day, it will unfold. And then you surrender and it becomes effortless.
Oh my gosh, I can like totally jump off all these different things that you just said because I'm experiencing everything that you just said. Like I said before, like I feel like as long as I'm doing the aligned action and I'm just taking the baby steps forward, I'm noticing all these opportunities just being presented to me. And I'm like, what? What? I don't even need to do anything. I just need to show up now. This is
Yes.
great.
Yes. And the thing is, it's not all of it's always about being high vibe. All it is just being in alignment. Like I can be in alignment when I'm sick. I
Yeah.
can be alignment when I'm going through one of those waves where I'm going into shadow work and I'm doing the shadow work and I don't shy away from it. Like it's not in alignment if you try and bypass it all and just be happy all the time, right? Like what if we came here just to experience everything? Like why we want to watch movies, why we want to watch happy movies, why we want to watch sad movies, why we want to, like, we just want to feel all the feels. So if we realize that we're feeling these low feels in order to feel these high feels, because you'll never feel the high feels if you didn't feel the low feels, then you lean into the low feels and you're like, okay, there's something here for me. What
Mhm.
is it? What's being called out of me? Because any low to me is showing me I'm about to up level. So when I get into that, I'm like, okay, I know I'm about to up level. What is being shown to me that's ready to be released? That's ready to be recoded, that's ready to be reprogrammed. And then I dive into it and I figure out what it is in alignment. And I never force myself to do something that doesn't feel right anymore. I don't compromise. Like I just stay in my truth. If it feels right, I'll do it. If it doesn't, I won't do it. That's what I'm talking about, being in the zone. So when you're in that low, you can still be in the zone. I've been in lows and received emails that blew my mind. So it's not always just being in the high. It's just making sure you don't compromise anymore. Like you discover what your truth is. And I used this analogy in my webinar the other day. I don't know if you've ever watched Runaway Bride.
With Julia Roberts, I haven't
Yes.
seen it though, but I know which movie you're talking about.
Yeah. So there's a scene in there where Richard Gere is always asking the people that she ran away from at the altar, like, how did she like her eggs? And it was because every person she was with, she liked her eggs like that person.
Mm,
And so at the end of the day, they all said, oh, yeah, she likes it scrambled like me. Oh, she likes it easy over like me. Oh, she likes an omelet like me. And so that's why she wasn't like, she was running away, obviously, because she was being what everybody wanted. So she didn't know her truth. So all you got to do is figure out what eggs you like. There's a scene in there where she's like sits down and she cooks all the eggs and she's like, okay, so what do I actually like? But we spend so much time trying to be what everybody else likes, and we're so out of alignment. And then we wonder why we're stressed, have depression, anxiety, why we want to all like try to fix all these things when we realize there's nothing to fix. There's absolutely nothing to fix. This is our life. This is our discovery. We have our own magic to bring to this world, and we're not bringing it because we're trying to be what everybody else wants. The minute you pull it back into you, that magic shows up, synchronicity opens up, and the universe helps you to bring your vision into this reality, and you quantum leap. And it's so much fun.
It is so much fun. Oh, okay. So uh, the whole world is just like it's just a simulation to me. It's just like
Yes.
we're like in the Sims video game. Do do do
Yes. I can't believe you said that because I just had that conversation with my husband last night. I
It's
was
the
like, what
synchronicity.
if, yeah, what if I'm an avatar? Like, what if I'm
Oh,
an avatar and this game is my Sim City that I'm creating every single day? So if I am the creator, what would I want to create? I
right.
can't believe you said that. I love the synchronicity. I knew we were going to have an amazing
Yeah.
conversation.
Yes, it is so true because once I discovered, okay, this is my game. Let's go. Then, I
Yes.
don't have to be, I mean, of course, I'm a human being here on earth. I am going to go through emotions, and that's totally fine. It's how I was responding instead of reacting that makes a big difference. And I noticed that, yes, now my higher self is already out there. She's just waiting for me to catch up. And
Yes.
I'm catching up. I'm gonna be there, sister.
I would say not catch up. I would say get out of the way.
Or get out of the way.
Yeah,
Yes, there
because
you go.
like I said, we're already we
That's
came
right.
into this. It's I always like to say it's like written in the stars, like, all these dreams and goals and desires there for us. It's just our
Yeah.
limiting beliefs that we came in to take on. And I feel like we came in to these families to take them on, to try them on, to feel what it feels like to feel this, to then be able to transcend it. And it's like this puzzle piece. We come in and we play these puzzle pieces and we're like, okay. And then like we release this, we release this, we release this. It's like a game that we're playing for our entire life, and we just keep transcending and transcending and transcending. And you were like, you said something that was really important when you said the emotions aren't bad. What if we just came here to feel the emotions?
Mm-hmm.
Like, what if we just came here to feel? Because once I leaned into the feelings, I was like, oh my God, like I just feel so alive instead of being a robot that's just going around trying to avoid feeling like crap, trying to avoid to always feel happy. But I can't feel happy unless I feel sad. I can't feel like I'm on the top of the mountain unless I'm on the bottom of the mountain. If I figure everything out and everything's perfect, I'll be in Groundhog Day and I'll be bored out of my mind.
Oh yeah.
And once we realize that's the truth, instead of what we were raised thinking that, you want to get to that place. And then once you get there, you're going to be happy. Once we accept that and we're like, but we came here to feel all the feels, to go up and down, left and right. Like we bought the ticket to go to Disneyland. So let's go on the rides. You know what I mean?
Right.
And you lean into it, it becomes a whole different experience. So I love that you also said that.
Oh yes. And I always use the video game of Super Mario Brothers. Like I remember playing that as a little girl and I was trying to defeat Bowser to get to the castle to save the princess and I would die. I would die. But I would never give up. That's
Yes.
the thing. I would never give
Yes.
up and I would beat Bowser and I would save the princess and I was happy.
Yes.
So
And then you know what? When you finished all the levels, did you stop and be like, okay, awesome, I'm done for the rest of my life? Or did you pick up another game or wish there was another level?
yeah, number
Right?
two. I think that's Mario
Yeah,
Brothers number
exactly.
two.
And
Yeah,
so that's what
it
I'm
was fun.
saying. Like, otherwise, if we're always just trying to reach that point and have everything be perfect, we're always going to be chasing the carrot. We're always going to feel lack. We're always going to feel something instead of what if the point is just the journey? What if the
Mhm.
point is why do we play the video games? Because we want to feel what it feels like to try and beat Bowser. And if it doesn't work, we do it again because it's fun. And so,
Yeah,
what if that's the secret of life? It's just this is the game we came here to play. So let's play. Like sometimes I'll just be like, okay, let's play. There's something here for me. Let's play. Like, what is it? If it's all perfectly unfolding for me, what is this thing that I'm here to reprogram, to shift, to do all those things? And that's my thing that I do with my clients is I like help to make the unconscious conscious. I help to find those blind spots of the things that are getting in the way of it dropping in. That's all we have to do is find those things, live our most authentic truth, and then let the universe, drop in its magic, do the rest, right?
that's
So I
right.
love that.
Yeah. Yeah. Can you share some success stories from your clients who have worked with you and just to notice your transformation?
Well, a lot of them are all quite similar to your story, right? It's that like we're living in suppression or we're living other people's lives, what other people think is success for us, pushing, pleasing, achieving, right? Proving all the time. And so, like a lot of clients come to me, and I don't want to specifically say one because I like to have confidentiality with my clients, but I'll give you an example of an overall view of when they come and they're burnt out there, they created so much success, right? Or they're on the way to success, but they're burnt out, they're stressed out because they're hustling, they're proving, they're pleasing. And one of them even said, like, what's the point? Like, what's the point of all of it? And I was like, that's true. Because if you're doing it for the reasons that we were raised, that it's success, money, how much money's in your bank account, what title do you have, all of these things, there is no point because you're just going to keep chasing it. Because every time you get there, you're going to want the next level and the next game and the next level and all of that. And you're not enjoying the process of it. So once I take them through the reprogramming processes and through my breakthrough sessions, and remove these things and shift and build this new like foundation of this new reality of alignment, knowing their truth, removing all the outside noise, they get in alignment within the first week. Their energy already starts shifting. They already start having more energy. One of my clients' spouses messaged and said, "Thank you so much because now our relationship is so different." And then the byproduct of that is that emails start dropping in out of the blue for bigger deals than they had ever imagined, just out of the blue. And they asked, where did this come from? And the person was like, "Oh, well, someone that you met before referred me to you, gave me your email, said I had to reach out to you." And they met this person, like I don't know, a year or so more ago, but because they were actually in alignment and in the zone, the universe was then able to drop these things. And then it just got so big that their careers take off, right? Bigger than they could have ever imagined, winning all these awards all of a sudden. Like it's just us getting in the way of our own magic. And then also I have other clients that want to like write a book or create this new business. But then there's the imposter syndrome, right? Because all of these things, but there is no imposter syndrome if you're doing it your way because you're creating your own path. There's imposter syndrome if you're trying to do it their way. And then there's a lot of, incongruency and stress and anxiety because you're trying to do it someone else's way. But if you just discover you're doing it your way, if you desire this, it's coming. I know it because it showed up in their lives. Once I helped them to clear all the blocks, these things show up in their lives and it starts to get there. And then it gets bigger than they could have ever imagined. Like one of my clients, she's so inspiring, the thing that she's creating. And oh gosh, like I'm so excited for her because it's gonna just like take off and it's already taken off from when we started working together. But it's like a co-creation between us. It only works because I'm the sounding board for them
Mm-hmm.
for their truth. I'm not doing anything outside of helping them to remember their power, to remember their truth, to remember who they are and what they came here to experience, right? And so I'm just helping guide them through the reprogramming process to remove the blocks, but it's them that's doing it with me. And so it's so much fun.
Yeah, I always say, I'm not going to change you. You're going to change yourself.
And you wouldn't want
Right.
to change anybody, right? Like, we're not here to
Right.
change anybody. I
Exactly.
honestly believe none of us are broken because we all chose to come
Yeah.
into whatever level of the video game we decided we wanted to come into to then transcend it. And that's
Yes.
it. And so we're not like every moment is perfectly imperfect. Exactly where we are right now is perfectly imperfect for us for our next chapter to keep growing. Because if it was perfect, we wouldn't keep growing. Right. And so it's just like, yeah, we get to keep going and we get to keep going. We're not broken. There's nothing to fix. Let's just fall in love with our life and see what we want to create next. And then let the universe blow our mind because for them, the stuff that's dropping in, my other client, like this deal that, she was thinking about, all of a sudden she just, sat there and she's like, yeah, imagine if this like popped into my life and then boom, she gets a text message that day because she's in alignment, right? Like it's just how do you get in so alignment and then these other things drop in and she's like, "Oh, this is bigger than ever before." And I was like, "Yeah, because you are ready for that." And that's why it's dropping in. And so you got this, and it just keeps growing and we get to grow together. It's so much fun.
Yeah. And I love how you said even our lows. that means there's something big is going to be happening. And it's so true. In my low state, something like, so I had experienced a miscarriage in April and I was devastated. I was just so devastated. But that same week, I got an email saying, "Hey, we're inviting you to speak this." I'm like, whoa, I'm not ready for this, by the way. But see, the limiting beliefs had to come in. But I, I obviously the universe thinks I'm ready. So I was like, I have to do this. This is my next level then. And so I did take that on. Now, if I was pregnant, who knows? I probably wouldn't have able to do that opportunity. I don't know. Only the universe knows. But I was okay with it. And I remember telling my husband, I have to be okay with me miscarriaging because I have to express gratitude regardless of whatever I'm going through because there's a reason why this is happening. And I don't know what, but something's going to happen that's going to be in the future. And then I am seeing a lot of things just being thrown at me. And I'm like, oh, okay. Talk about imposter syndrome, right? But like you were saying, I am it's not imposter syndrome because it's in alignment to who I am as a spiritual being. And I feel like I can create a lot of things that are so magical. And I have a lot of people co-creating with me as well. We are the directors, writers, authors, screenplay writer, everything, and actors of our own movie. Yeah, yeah.
My gosh. I absolutely love that. And first, I'm so very sorry
Oh, thank
about your miscarriage. I know I have had 5 miscarriages and
you.
each one, so you know how you said you don't need to figure out the how. Like once we don't need to figure out the how, everything becomes magical. And so for me, it wasn't, I mean, who knows? Who knows the big reason? But for me, each miscarriage became my superpower.
Mm,
Each miscarriage taught me so much. And to me, the strength that it brought me is already the gift. And so each one to me was a gift. Would I say that I'm going to go and invite more things that are painful into my life? No, but I know now that I'm unstoppable. I
mhm,
know now that it's going to hurt, but I'm not going to turn it into suffering. I know I'm going to transmute it into my superpower. Each one was a gift for me to look at my life and say, okay, where can I shift it? Where can I, you know, become more in alignment? Where can I choose me instead? How can I get my energy more into alignment? And so that's amazing that you already did that and you were able to transmute it already and help to be in that process. Not saying that you're going to have more, that you have to, but that you know that you're unstoppable now. Like sometimes we go through our fears to show us that we don't have to be afraid.
mhm,
Right. And so sometimes it's just that simple thing is we don't have to be afraid that we're unstoppable and we're going to turn it into our superpower no matter what. So we're all in, we're able, we're willing, we're going to do this. Right.
mhm,
And so the imposter syndrome that you were talking about as well, where you're like, you have all these opportunities coming in because you're ready, it's like you just doing that inner work to just be like, yeah, I am ready. Yeah, it scares me, but that's how I know I'm about to up level. If
mhm,
it scares me, now I'm going to reprogram it. I'm going to reprogram to say why it scares me. I'm going to
mhm,
reprogram that out and I'm going to shift in the beliefs to be so powerful in it, knowing that, yeah, it's uncomfortable right now and it's uncomfortable because this is going to help me to practice to become stronger. That's why I love big things that drop into my life because every time they do, I get to reprogram along the way every time I feel anxiety or fear so that I can shift it out because there's a belief there that's causing me to feel that anxiety. There's a story, something that happened in childhood or past lives or whatever you might say, even whether you believe in past lives or not. If it's all a simulation, it's all in our head anyways, right?
yeah,
So there's something there, there's a programming there that's causing us to feel that anxiety, that's causing us to not feel good enough, that's causing us to be afraid whether we can actually deliver or not. So whenever I have a big thing, I love it because I'll be driving and I'll feel the anxiety. So I'll like pull over and I'll be like, okay, I'm reprogramming that. I don't have time for that because I know that this is all happening so I can see these blind spots. Because when you're happy and you're living your life, there's nothing you're not going to stop and do a reprogramming process or shift something, right? Because you're just like, everything's amazing.
yeah,
But it's when you're going through the crunchy times that you can be aware that there's something back there in the closet that's ready to be cleaned out. And so I use the big things as opportunities to clean those things out to become stronger. So each big thing, I'm like 10 times or 100 times stronger by the time I'm done. Because when I show up, I'm neutral. I reprogram all of the anxiety out so that when I get there, it's just like, okay, awesome, I get to be here, you know? So I don't think, yeah, it sounds like imposter syndrome, but it's not because you were born for these things. So
Mhm.
now you're just becoming the version of you that gets to deliver it in your power, which is amazing.
Yes, I noticed that a lot of times where I feel like there's a challenging moment that I'm like, oh, I'm frustrated if I'm stuck on something or, I need more clarity. I will step away from the computer and then do some breathing exercises. And then I kid you not, Jocelyn, like I come back to the computer and it's already fixed. Like
Yes.
something, it's so nuts. I just take a break just for a moment. Like all it is like maybe 15 minutes or so. Step away, breathe, and get centered and visualize. And then I come back, I'm like, oh, my answer's right here. It's so
Yes.
incredible.
It's like that story from the book You Squared with the fly that just keeps beating its head up against the window trying to get out when all it has to do is fly backwards and look for the door and fly out of the
Right.
door. Like that's what, a lot of times we keep pushing and forcing and all of these things and we're bloodying ourselves when all we needed to do was step back, breathe, open up our knowing, and then come back and it works out. And
Mhm.
a lot of times it's not reacting to the things. Once we react to it and we think that there's something wrong and we start getting afraid and we turn it into this big thing, we cause all this unnecessary fallout. But if we're like, okay, this is here for me to up level. So what is it here for? Is it for me to just not react? Is it for me to just even practice not reacting, knowing that it's all going to work out? So I don't even have to worry about it. So I'm going to go and take a breath and somehow it's going to magically work out. And then it does. Because, like I've had huge things happen where the old me would have reacted, turned it into a big thing. So there was this example with my mom, and we came home. I moved home to Hawaii because of her stroke to support her in her recovery. And so we were shopping at Home Depot one day, and she went to go buy something, and they said, "Oh, your credit card's maxed out at $26,000. You can't use it." And we both looked at each other, and we were like, what? Because she thought she had it on auto pay and she thought she was up with everything. But after the stroke, there was a lot going on in her, her brain and all of these things. And so we left and we were like freaking out. And we were driving. I had to take her to an appointment and we were on the way there. And I was like, you know what? It's just money. Like it's just money. It's nothing. And I looked over to her and I told her, Mom, don't worry about it. It's just money. It doesn't matter. And she's like, oh my gosh, thank you so much. Yeah, it's just money. We'll figure it out. And she said that makes me feel so much better. And I said, yeah, whatever. It's just money. It's not anything. And so I get home and I call Home Depot to sort it out. And they're like, oh, I don't know what that lady was talking about. You have zero dollars in your on your account. And so I know if we had reacted, it would have turned into something. But it was when we were practicing shifting our reactions. So the universe gave it to us to shift our reactions. And when we didn't react, it just disappeared. And that happens to me all the time. Like I went to Best Buy to buy a computer lens, a camera lens for $2,500, and they were supposed to ship it to me and it never arrived. And I called them and they were like, oh, yeah, it says you picked it up from the store. So you already received your product. And so there's nothing we can do. And you're going to have to go down to the store and try and find the person you bought it to and talk to them. Right. And so the old me would have reacted, but the new me was like, whatever, like something's going to unfold. If it's just for me to practice not reacting, I'm going to do that. I'm going to show up. I'm going to reprogram myself knowing that, show up, and then they give me the lens. Like this happens all the time. But in the past, I'd react and it turned into this big, massive, drawn out thing. So just practice not react. It's such a simple thing, but it's so hard. But if you practice not reacting and just trust everything is happening for you, not to you, everything is intended for your highest purpose, and you lean into it and know that this is an up-leveling process, your life will change overnight just by that belief.
Yes, yes, and yes, it's so true. Wow. It is very true. I notice because whenever I am in a rut and I stay in a rut, I created that. I'm creating all of that stuff. But I can shift it and then say, okay, you know what? Let me just observe my emotions. Let me just examine myself and let me either take a walk, breathe it out, go in nature, pray, whatever I need to do, and reboot. Reboot, just like a computer. We need to reset our computer. Sometimes it's glitching. I need to go ahead and turn off the modem and turn it back on It's working again. Just like us, we need to reboot ourselves too.
Yes, yes. And also just give ourselves so much grace because
Yes.
it's in those so-called mistakes, our so-called whatever failures that we get our biggest growth. So just give ourselves so much great grace because we're growing through it. And just like you're playing the video game and you miss the mushroom or whatever it is, or Bowser kills you, like just give yourself so much grace, get back up and do it again because you know you're going to get to the end. If you know you're going to get there, you show up in a completely different way than if
Mhm.
you doubt that you're going to get there. Like if you know that your goals are for you, like Disney got rejected 33 times before the 34th time he got accepted by the bank for his loan. If he knew that on the 34th time, if you knew on the 34th time you were going to get accepted, how much different would you show up every single time versus if you didn't know? Most people would give up on the third time or the 10th time or the 20th time, right? So if you know that your visions and your goals and your desires are for you, it's what your soul, it's what you came here to experience. It's the game you decided to play. You're going to show up in a completely different way and you're going to give yourself so much grace. You're going to dust off and you're going to play push start again. And you're just going to keep doing it. But if you beat yourself up, you're going to be terrified to take another leap because you just beat the crap out of yourself because you didn't do it right. But if a kid that's learning to walk beat himself up every single time he fell, none of us would be walking, right? It's like you do it and we celebrate the kid. We're like, "Oh my gosh, good try. Get up, do it again." And we celebrate the fact that he got up and fell again and you're like, "Awesome, keep going," right? If we celebrate ourselves that way, we will quantum leap beyond our wildest dreams because we are the only ones slowing it down. We're the only ones getting in the way and other people's opinions as well, but that's also us letting other people's opinions get in the way.
So true. There's so much freedom when you stop caring about other people's opinions about yourself and what they think. It really, all that matters is what you are doing for yourself, your inner power. Let it shine.
Oh my gosh. And that's exactly it because we sabotage ourselves so much. When I went to go and reprogram myself to become the lucky one and to have to receive magic and miracles and exponential wealth always, always, in the reprogramming process, I discovered that part of me did not want to become the lucky one. Because if I was the lucky one, that means I didn't earn it. That
Mm,
means that I was just lucky, so it just dropped into my life. So I couldn't prove to anybody my worth. I couldn't prove to them that I created this and all of these things. So I was sabotaging myself to make it hard so that I could prove to everybody that I was worthy and that I was deserving and that I made this happen. And during that reprogramming process, I was like, I don't care. Exactly what you said. Like, I don't care. This is my life.
yeah.
And so I don't need to prove to anybody if I'm the lucky one and everything just works amazing and they just say, oh, she's just a lucky one. Who cares? Because I'm the one that gets to live the lucky one, right?
That's right.
And so I reprogrammed that. And then I got home from the spa. I did it when I was in the spa. I got home from the spa and my friend messaged me from one of my mentors programs. And she's just like, you just won a brand immersion that's worth more than $10,000. And I
Oh,
was like, what? She did that draw last week and I didn't win. She's like, yeah, but she did another one out of the blue and you won. And I was like, holy Toledo's, like, how much was I getting in my own way? Because I had to prove it. And because also I felt bad. If I was the lucky one, someone else would have to lose. But if we are doing it from our inner power and we're not doing it from external power where we're fighting over what exists, if I'm from inner power and I live my truth, I get to be inspiration
mhm,
because I'm not going to do it in a dominant way. I'm not going to do it in my ego. I'm going to do it in a loving way where I'm like, for me, for you, and for the entire world. And so it's a different energy. So then once you shift that, you show up in a different way, and then you get to be the lucky one. Like just look in your life and say, where am I sabotaging myself because of other people's opinions and other, like, this is my life. How do I desire to live my life? And then how do I become the inspiration to then support people instead of being the martyr as well
mhm.
too? So yes, this is our life. Let's live it for us and for everyone as well too.
It's like the Tears from Fears song, Welcome to Your Life. There's no
Oh,
turning back. I love that
yes.
song. Oh.
Yes. Like we're the ones that live it. Everyone can give you opinions, but you're the one that lives it. And they're only giving you opinions from their model of the world, from
Right.
what they came here to experience. So they're going to give you their experience for what they want to create in this lifetime, not what your soul came here to create, or your knowing, or the game you decided to play, or the movie you wanted to write, right? Like, it's like, what do you want to bring? What are you bringing in your uniqueness? You can take opinions, but then you bring it back in and you say, okay, what's in alignment with me? Sometimes I get the opinions and I bring it in and I'm like, oh yeah, that's awesome. But I'm also going to change it more like this. And I'm going to take a little bit of this and I'm going to make my own recipe. And that's all we're here to do is make our own recipe. So
Yeah.
trusting in that, like, it's just not even trusting and faith you have to make yourself do, but knowing, you're just being. Like,
Hmm.
quantum manifestation is just being. You don't have to hope, you don't have to pray, you don't have to trust, you don't have to have faith, because you just know that it's unfolding, and that knowing opens up the synchronicity beyond anything else.
Wow, 100%. I keep on saying 100%, because I agree with everything you're saying, because I am feeling it, I am experiencing it, and I want others to know that it's
Yes,
possible because they are magic. They have it within them. You do,
yes.
audience. Seriously, you do.
Yes, we all do.
Yes.
It's just like turning on the light switch.
Right.
That's all it is once you have that awareness and you get off the merry-go-round and you realize that we are the creators of our reality, like how we show up, the world responds to who we are. If we show up, I used to always have this thing where I used to get into partnerships where we'd start out the same and by the end I'd be doing all the work.
Mm.
And I'd even get jobs. And in the beginning, I'd be here, and then so they'd fire someone and give me their stuff, and I'd be doing all the stuff, right? And I'm like, what? Why do I keep attracting this? And then I realized that through the reprogramming process, that it was me. I was showing up, not feeling worthy and deserving. So I just kept showing up saying, I got this. I'll do it. I'll do it. So of course they're going to say yes. And I'm like, okay, yeah, no, don't worry about it. I got it. I got it. And they're going to be like, oh, wow, Jocelyn's so amazing. She got it. Right. I created that. The minute I realized I was worthy and deserving, I don't need to prove myself to anyone, my relationship shifted
Mm.
instantly. And now I have the most fulfilling relationships, but it's because I show up that way. So, like, we are the creators. We just have to turn on that switch and we just have to realize it and we get to choose that. Because I say this all the time, we're manifesting every single moment of every single day. We're either manifesting lack and struggle and pain and suffering, or we're manifesting, abundance and magic and miracles. And like my son, he's like, I'm magic and miracles all the time, because we've done that so often. So much magic has shown up into our life, like literal magic, where I forgot his beach toys and he got upset, and I'm like, don't worry about it, because we're going to go down there. We're magic and miracles. We're going to have fun no matter what. And we start digging in the sand, and we immediately dig up this Lego wizard, like a wizard. Like, what are the chances you're going to dig up
Oh.
like a toy, a Lego wizard in the sand? And so, like, that happens all the time because we cultivate that. We look for that. We're going to validate the magic and miracles, and we're not going to create a story out of the things that don't work out. We're going to harvest the learnings, we're going to pivot, and we're going to transmute it so that we've compound the magic and miracles, and everything else becomes a strengthening process, becoming our superpower. But in the past, in the victim mindset, I was like, oh no, here we go again, it's happening again, it's happening again, and so I would compound that. Like, a lot of times I'll have clients and they'll say all these things happen, and I'm like, and they're like, it happens all the time, and I'm like, all the time? And they're like, no, but this. And I'm like, okay, well, you keep validating that. So you're going to keep having that reality. Do you want to keep having that reality? Or do you want to validate all the times that these things happen, and every single day validate those things that happen? And once you shift that, more of these things are going to show up, because what you validate is going to keep showing up. So it's like, what do you choose that you want to start showing up into your life?
Yeah, we have the power of choice too. We get to
Yes.
choose. I mean, It's amazing journey, I'm telling you. And I'm
Yes.
just so happy that you're able to bring more clarity into the whole manifestation, the power within us, the quantum leaps that we experience. So thank you so much for bringing so much clarity to the audience and to myself too.
Thank
It's just nice knowing
you.
that, okay, this makes more sense to me what I'm going through because yes, I am creating a lot of this stuff. And yeah, how I'm responding is way much more important than how I am reacting. When I used to react, oh, nothing good came out. It would be like,
Yes.
but now I'm
But
like,
good did come out of it because you got to
that
experience
is
it
true.
because now you know, like you can't
That
feel
is
like you
true.
can't know what it feels like to be in the zone if you haven't been out of the zone. And so because you went through that, now this feels so amazing. So something good did come out of it. It's just
That's
like you're
right.
just done with it. Been there, done that. Let's play this game now.
Yeah, it's the experience, like you're saying. It's this we experienced that. Now we know we don't want that. We go to this instead.
Yes.
That's right. You're so right. Oh, well, Jocelyn, is there anything else you'd like to share with the audience at all? Or maybe perhaps if they want to connect with you and work with you, can you please drop down your email address as well as your website information?
Yes. So if you want the soul evolution process, just email me. It's info at Jocelyn Luco Sandstrom. No, info at jocelynsandstrom.com. And that soul evolution process, if you do that every single day and you start building that knowing within you and trusting yourself, your life will change. But you have to be committed to it. You can't just do it once. The more you do it, the more that you don't need the process because you're just going to know it. But you just got to get yourself used to getting into that. And if you really take that on, it will completely change everything. And then the other thing is social media, Jocelyn Luco Sandstrom on Instagram. That's where I put a lot of content, a lot of, quantum energy sessions, a lot of tips, and all my programs will be on there as well. If you want to dive deep and quantum leap it and remove the blocks, you can always just email me for a discovery call as well, and we can hop on and see what would be a fit for you. But my main thing is that it's all in you. Like once you start looking inwards instead of outwards, and once you can cultivate the power to know that nobody's opinions matter except for your opinion and your truth, and that you can create anything that you desire as long as you go inwards instead of trying to make it what everybody wants. Like you have your gift that you were meant to bring into this world, that you decided you wanted to bring into this world. And it is going to be so unique to you that it's not going to look like what other people think, like the Wright brothers, Einstein, Edison, Disney, everybody that brought something in that innovated didn't make sense to people. Like two bicycle mechanics creating this like airplane, you know what I mean? Like how many people would have thought they were crazy? If they cared what other people thought, would they have created that? No. If they just knew it and they did it every single day. Be okay looking crazy. Be okay with people doubting you, knowing that you're going to get there no matter what. And then when you get there, they'll celebrate you and that'll be icing on the cake. But you're not doing it for that. You're doing it for you and your truth, to feel all the feels, to be alive, to bring your magic, and to live a life that truly like you love, that you makes you want to cry. Like I'm just like,
Yeah,
it's
yeah.
so amazing.
I feel it.
And
And
then
then
ripple that into the world.
yeah.
Yeah,
Ripple
sorry.
effect. Oh no, I love it. I'm talking about the crying part. I said I cried this morning. Oh, just like in
Oh,
gratitude. I was like,
yes.
thank you. I don't know. I
Yes.
just feel it. You feel it warmth and fuzzy inside. That's probably why I'm wearing this nice fuzzy sweater. It's not as probably warm over here as it is in Hawaii. That's why I'm all bundled up. But it's all what a warm and fuzzy feeling that I got this morning, and I was just full of gratitude. And I was just like, thank you so much for just loving me, really, is what it
Yes.
is.
Yes. And you get
Yeah.
to wear whatever you want when you want because it feels good. Like that's the thing. Like, how do we get to just do it? Not because it makes sense. I live a life that doesn't make sense. So the more it doesn't make sense, the more magical it is for me. So I'm gonna do
Yeah.
it like how I want to do it. And if you think I'm crazy, that's fine because I'm having a party over here.
Oh,
And you
yeah.
can come to the party if you want because the doors are open, right? And
Yeah.
make your own party. Don't wait for
Hmm.
someone else to make it for you. Make your own party and you become so magnetic that people and things just start coming to you instead of you chasing it all the time. Like that's what I mean about like going into the age of the spiritual billionaire. It's like if we desire to get there, it's not going to be from the old hustle mentality.
Mhm.
It's going to become of us being in the zone and becoming so magnetic that we draw these opportunities to us that quantum leap us into a world that doesn't make sense.
Yeah.
So live in a world that doesn't make sense because it's a lot of fun.
It is a lot of fun. I'm such a rule breaker. I think that's why I was just my mom probably was had too much of me going, not calling when I was supposed to, not coming home when I was supposed to. But I was having fun as a little
Yes,
teenager, you know. I was like, well, whatever. That was back then. But
yes,
now I just love to create my own party, like you were saying, and
yes,
everyone's invited.
yes.
I think in my description for this podcast is welcome to the party
Oh
because
my
this is a
gosh, I love that. And the
party.
name Shine Within, that's the secret. That
Yeah,
really
it
is the
is.
secret. It really is truly the secret because when I did my first reprogramming process, the thing that shattered, that was amazing, was I saw myself as this clay molded statue
Mhm.
from school, from parents, from society. And then as I reprogrammed to realize I'm worthy and deserving, I don't need to, just my me being here, I'm worthy and deserving. I don't even need to do anything because if you talk about spirituality and if we're all souls and all our souls are same power but different, and so all of us are worthy and deserving, and this is just a part that we're playing, then we don't have to prove anything because we just are. And so as I started to let that light shine, there was cracks in this mold statue, and you see these cracks and then all of a sudden it got bigger and bigger and it just shattered it all off so that I could be me. And
Oh,
then that's when the depression and the anxiety and all of those things just started to melt away because it's when we're suppressed trying to be what everybody wants us to be, all of the, emotions get bottled up in there. But when we shine from within, like you say, oh, it's just like expansiveness.
yeah. Then we shine from without, and then it's like that ripple effect that you were saying earlier. Yeah.
Yes. Yes.
Oh, well, thank you so much, Jocelyn. I feel like I can
Thank
talk to you
you.
forever.
Me too. Thank you so much. I love what you're doing in your podcast and how you're rippling out into the world and how you're living the magic. I just love it. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much. It's been an absolute honor to have you on my show. We'll have to
Thank
do it
you.
again.
Yes. Have an amazing day.
You too.